All right, welcome to the virtual career exploration platform sponsored by CACRAO for all North and South Carolina students. We're so glad that you've chosen to join us tonight for a presentation on Elon University. Just a few quick housekeeping pieces of information before we get started. Students, we want to encourage you to ask questions tonight, so be sure to put your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see you or hear you. So the only way they'll know if you have questions is to actually put them in the Q&A. And there are lots more sessions available. So be sure to register for scheduled presentations at CACRAO.org. You can also check recordings that have been done over the past few weeks. A recording of this session will be available in about a week at CACRAO.org. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our presenters for tonight's presentation.
Fantastic, and we appreciate CACRAO for allowing us to, of course, participate in this wonderful occasion. Again, so of course we do welcome you to the land that bears the most beautiful oak trees, and honestly the sky in which the phoenix continues to soar here at Elon University. We wish that we could meet you in person, but we're so happy that we can, of course, use this platform to engage with you. We are going to go ahead and get started with a brief video that will give you a true sense into the Elon culture and experience, and then follow up with a presentation on diving into more context.
The culture of Elon is what makes it special.
High of 87 and a low of 66.
Your time at Elon is this sort of bounded special moment. We have a word for it in anthropology. It's called the liminal. And that's where the magic happens. That's where people change. They transform.
It's a mind-blowing experience.
And as he mentioned, it is truly a mind-blowing experience because there's so many opportunities that students will have to engage across the board, be involved, whether that's study abroad opportunities, gain internships, and so much more we'll dive into, again, the presentation. But first and foremost, I am Tristan Rainey, one of the assistant directors of admissions here on campus, covering Western North Carolina and South Carolina, the entire state. So I'm looking forward to, of course, talking more about Elon, hopefully answering any of the questions you guys have in the Q&A a little later. And of course, now we'll allow my colleague to introduce herself as well.
Thank you, Tristan. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kimberly Romero, the Assistant Director of Diversity Recruitment, as well as the Admissions Counselor for Eastern North Carolina. I am so pleased to join you all today and share more about Elon University. So we will get started with one of my favorite traditions here on our campus. So in this image, you'll see a small acorn, and that is part of one of our biggest traditions. When our students arrive on our campus, they receive an acorn at a ceremony under those beautiful oak trees we mentioned earlier. Students get to keep that acorn with them for 4 years. Something very special happens to an acorn in 4 years, the same way that something special happens to our Elon Phoenix over the course of their 4 years as well. A little bit more about us, who we are and where we are located. Tristan and I both have the pleasure of being North Carolina natives, and we are also from the neighboring towns of Graham and Burlington. We are in the town of Elon here in the heart of North Carolina, right next to Raleigh-Durham and Greensboro, also within driving distance to Charlotte. As you know, North Carolina has the best of both worlds. To one side, you have the awesome coast and the beaches. To the other, the mountains and great outdoor activities, all accessible to our students within a couple hours drive. Here in the local community, our students are able to explore our local dining places and shopping centers through our Elon BioBus shuttle service, all free of charge, allows our students to explore our local Alamance community. We have just around 6,300 undergraduate students, about 1,000 at our graduate level. 80% of our students do join us from outside of the state. That includes a 6% international student population. We have 47 of the 50 states represented across our Phoenix here, and 19% of our students identify as racially or ethnically diverse. We have some great offices that also support our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. One of the ones that I will highlight, one of my personal favorites, is our Center for Access and Success. They have a great first-generation student support services office there for students who perhaps, like myself or Tristan, were the first in their family to go to college. They also house a great scholarship program that you'll learn a little bit more about later on, called our Odyssey Scholars Program. So here, Elon Excellence is highlighted. We have been receiving many national rankings by US News and World Report. Among those, we have the #2 Teaching Excellence Award. We have some awards for our first year student experiences, as well as our beautiful campus. We are the #1 study abroad school. We also have the #1 learning communities across our campus. And we are very proud to say we are ranked #2 for those first year student experiences that are so instrumental to the rest of your undergraduate career. Now we've got a breakdown of Elon by the numbers. Here at Elon, we really like the number 4. That encompasses our 4 undergraduate schools, all accredited to the highest degree. Those are our School of Business, School of Education, School of Communication, and the College of Arts and Sciences. Your admission into Elon University actually gets you into all 4 of those schools. So you don't have to worry about applying to the School of Business or School of Education. If you are admitted, you are automatically admitted into all 4 of those. If you were like me and you didn't know what that major was going to be your first year, you are able to take classes across all 4 of those schools, figure out what it is that that one major might be. Or here at Elon, oftentimes our students find 2 or 3, even minors, to add into their course of study. The number 4 is also symbolic of our academic calendar. We operate on a 4-1-4 academic calendar. That 1 represents a winter term, or a January term, as some of our students here call it affectionately. That is about a month long, where students can come back here to campus and take classes for credit. They can study USA. We have hubs in Los Angeles, New York City, Washington, D.C., where our students can take some amazing courses. One of my favorites is the Sundance Film Festival, where students get that hands-on experience behind the scenes of Hollywood and film. We also have some great study abroad opportunities during that January term for students who perhaps it is not ideal to study abroad for the whole semester, 3 to 4 months. They are able to do so in that 1 month. We also have over 60 majors. 2 that I will highlight here are new added, recently announced nursing program. We will begin enrolling this year. So any nursing students out there, I encourage you to check out Elon's new program. And we are also revamping our engineering program. They will be receiving 2 new innovation quads within the next 2 years with state-of-the-art technology for all of those students. To take a deeper dive what's happening into the classroom, we will now turn to the right-hand side of your screen. We have a 12-to-1 student to faculty ratio and an average class size of 20. We do cap all our classes at 33, so you don't have to worry about being in a theater-sized classroom where your professor might not get to know you. Trust us, your professor will definitely get to know you. It really gives way to that one-on-one mentorship from our faculty. 100% of our classes are taught by faculty, so you can rest assured you're getting that knowledge from that professor. None of our classes are taught by a TA or graduate assistant. As great as their knowledge is as well, we are very proud to say that our faculty are at the forefront of those classes. Now, perhaps another aspect of Elon that is one of my favorites is our Elon Experiences. We offer 5 of them. We will start by chatting a little bit about study abroad. As mentioned earlier, we are ranked #1 for our study abroad programs. We have over 100 different options for our students to choose from. We have a great global education center that can sit with you and plan out where that country might be, how those courses will transfer over. Not to mention, we are far and wide, just about on every corner of the world, every continent except Antarctica. That one's a little tough. We're working on that one, but our students do have some very, very great opportunities for study abroad. About 78% of our students have the opportunity to study abroad in their undergraduate time. Next up, we have our internships. So we have the #4 nationally ranked Student Professional Development Center. They work day in and day out to really secure those internship opportunities for our students to form that strong foundation to their career paths after they leave Elon. About 88% of our students are completing internships in their undergraduate time. Next up here in the middle, we have undergraduate research. As mentioned earlier, what's happening in the classroom is so special and so unique. A lot of times our faculty will bring students on to their own research projects or mentor students in their own research projects. Students here at Elon have that flexibility and that ability to be published and have that research out there and present it campus-wide and even sometimes in national or international conferences. Next up, we have our service learning. This is more than just your volunteering at your local soup kitchen. Our students here take part in some service learning that is truly impactful. I have seen it myself. Students are able to pair some of these experiences like service learning with their study abroad and make impact in other communities as they immerse in those cultures as well. And lastly, we have our leadership experiences. Students are really able to hone in those skills of leadership across different initiatives on campus and our various clubs and organizations. Now, these are a cornerstone of many undergraduate experiences. What makes them unique here at Elon is that we require our students to complete 2 of these before they walk across the stage. On average, though, as we know, our Elon students are very driven and motivated. So they are completing 3, if not all 5 of these before they graduate here at Elon. Now a little bit more into living and learning here at Elon. This image shows one of our beautiful academic quads, although also with a twist, it can double as a residential space. We have 8 residential neighborhoods. 5 of those are very central to our campus and dedicated to our first-year students. We do require our students to live on campus for the first 2 years of their undergraduate career. After that, they are welcome to move off campus to nearby apartments or shared housing with friends. 2 of my favorite residential neighborhoods that I will highlight here are our global neighborhood. They have the theme of a global engagement, and every year they pick a different idea to work around and really get that global perspective that is so unique to Elon University. The second one is our West neighborhood, our West building. It is the only building standing from the original Elon College. On the outside, they have the original bricks holding up the building. It is a true gem across our campus. And then we have 23 living and learning communities for students who have shared academic interest, really want to dive a little bit deeper into those with their living spaces. So there, that building in the far back, students are able to take classes on the first floor, and on the second floor, we have some great living and learning communities where our students are able to live and really dive deeper into those academic pathways that they pursue while they're here at Elon. And now I'll share a little bit more about your life outside the classroom. Of course, that is essential to any college experience. We have over 284 clubs and organizations. Those range from affinity groups to Greek life sorority fraternities to club and intramural sports. There is something for everyone on this campus. If you come to Elon and you find something that is not available, you come find Tristan and I. We will be glad to connect you with people who will make that club or organization a possibility for you. I remember that number being down in the 260s a while ago, so I can tell you students have some brilliant ideas that they bring forward and bring to life as a new club or organization across our campus. We also do play Division I athletics. We have 17 Division I athletic teams, and we play in the CAA, the Colonial Athletic Association, up and down the East Coast. And lastly, of course, the food, essential to any college experience. We have over 15 dining halls and retail restaurants. 3 of those are your classic buffet style dining halls. Your Phoenix card, which is your ID card, offers your meal plan and houses your meal plan, and students are able to choose one of 3 options, all of which include unlimited swipes into those different dining halls. So for any of those late night cravings, you don't have to worry. You can take a study break and grab a cookie without a worry of a swipe. So I will now turn it over to Tristan to give you a little bit more about our admissions process here at Elon.
Fantastic. Kimberly has done a fantastic job with detailing many of the intricacies and unique qualities that Elon has. But one thing that is a true overwhelming presence here is community. We truly are a family by and by. As you walk by different classmates, different schoolmates, faculty, and staff, you will feel that connection. One of my favorite traditions here is what we call college coffee. And in this time, it's such a wonderful opportunity beyond just the academic walls for faculty, staff, and students to come together, engage together, and really get to know each other on personal levels. That goes and builds such a phenomenal mentorship opportunity that builds a phenomenal connection amongst the entire community. Now, this is just one of many traditions that we do have, but I did want to take time and the opportunity to highlight and reiterate that we are truly, again, that family atmosphere. Now, in terms of all the things that Kimberly mentioned, there's several different opportunities that students have inside the classroom, but when you come to college, when you gain these experiences, we really are hoping, and I know that you're hoping, that they're going to be, that you're going to be able to, of course, apply these to, of course, your life past college. With that being said, we've had so many great things working for us that are truly at the benefit of our students. We've been voted by the Princeton Review as one of the most best run colleges. We have a #4 best career service, which is really impactful as you begin to develop your resumes, gain internship experiences, be able to, of course, build those interviewing skills that will help you further. And so many other accomplishments. Not to use those to brag, but it really should give you reassurance as you look into the colleges that you're interested in, to know they're taking care of you both in and outside the classroom. Now, reverting back to those outcomes I mentioned before, within the class of 2019, our students, 95% of them are currently employed in graduate school, completing an internship, or as you see, part of a service organization, which is great. You're going to be able to move forward and gain, again, those experiences, be able to become gainfully employed or even further your education. But what we love even more here is that 92% of those same students are doing something directly related to the career objectives they had in college. So yes, that study abroad experience that you're going to have, those internships that you're going to obtain, the classroom studies that you have will all be able to work for the greater good in getting you exactly what you want after graduation. So that is what we love. That's how we engage. Our Student Professional Development Center here will work with you as early as your freshman year, as Kimberly mentioned, all the way even throughout your graduation. Even as alumni, they will stay in contact with you and help you achieve what you're looking for. But as we dive into more of the structure of Elon in terms of finances and our application process, our tuition is just over $51,000 a year. And understandably, that can be a lot of money for a lot of students, right? We do implore you to fill out a FAFSA, which is that federal financial aid, as well as provide us with a CSS profile. Now, those students who are very intentional in terms of their planning for college can use the net price calculator found on our Elon website to put in your family variables to see exactly what your financial aid package may be in relations to planning for college. But of course, essential to any university is the scholarship opportunities and programs, and that is no different here. We do have quite a few opportunities for you to engage with. The first of which will be on the left of the screen, those merit-based scholarships, which in essence is a true reward for your hard work, both inside and outside the classroom. The presidential focuses a little bit more on your academics. This will go to the top 15 percentile of students that do apply academically to Elon. That number does change per year, but of course it stays consistent with the percentage of students that will receive it. The Elon Engagement Scholarship is great for those students that have been involved outside the classroom. As Kimberly mentioned, so many of our students are actively involved on campus, creating organizations, leaving their impact here. And we want to make sure, as of course we are doing that here, that the students we accept will be able to do the same. So those of you who have already done so in your high school career is already impressive, and we want to make sure we provide scholarship opportunities for those. And then, of course, the International Scholars Program for any of our abroad students will be a great way for you to, of course, have scholarship opportunities and create pathways for you here on campus. Now, with that also being said, we do have what we consider scholarship programs. This will be closely related to an honors-based program in another institution. But these three programs that you see here have multiple different program opportunities. In fact, our fellows programs, there are 6 different options. 4 of which they are associated with each of the schools mentioned before: the College of Arts and Sciences, School of Business, School of Communications, and School of Education. We also have a Fellows Honors Program and Fellows Leadership Program. What all of these have in common is that they are cohorted experiences, allowing our students the opportunity to add to the in-classroom experience by these students entering campus together, taking particular classes, having professional development program and opportunities both on the weekends and during the weeks, and being able to, of course, have more personalized experience within their particular school of interest. The scholars programs are good as well. Great opportunities for students that are looking for more, maybe a major specific option. So say for instance, as Kimberly mentioned, we have nursing that will be starting in the fall of 21. And we also have a nursing scholars program. We also have an engineering scholars program as well, just as a point of reference. And then the Odyssey program, which is one of my favorite. This is a wonderful opportunity for our students that have demonstrated high academic achievement, but also still demonstrate high financial need, to have scholarship opportunities to come to Elon, gain that education, gain all 5 of these experiences that we mentioned, and not have to worry necessarily about finances. So of course, we do have all 3 of these experiences. If you are looking for more of program requirements, they do differ, and you of course can find those on our university websites as you dive into which one best fits you. And then accelerated programs. There are 4 different options as you see on the screen. And what these are great opportunities for students interested in any of the 4 to come to Elon and within a condensed amount of time, leave with 2 degrees, that undergraduate degree as well as that master's level opportunity. So all these experiences are available for our students here on campus. The merit-based scholarships you do not have to apply for. You're automatically considered for those when you do apply to Elon University. I, as well as Kimberly and several other counselors, will review your credentials and be able to nominate you. And if awarded, they will be in your admissions letter. The scholarship programs as well as accelerated pathways do have separate applications and deadlines, being on January the 15th. And of course, I will give a reminder at the end for that as well. Now, with Elon, there are 3 different ways to apply. That's the common application, which many of you may be very familiar with, the Elon application housed on our university website, and the coalition. When you feel most comfortable with, and apply when you feel the most confident. Generally, we'll be able to see that on your application as we review it. But secondly, it would be a great way for you to have the confidence to lower any anxiety during that process as well. Now, we do have a holistic admissions process, right? Great opportunity for students to, one, highlight their grades, but several other opportunities as they engage with our application. As you see, our mid-ranges are about a 3.4 to a 4.4 GPA. These are weighted, so Elon will take in consideration any AP, IB, dual enrollment, or of course, honors courses that students have taken throughout their time and give you the appropriate credit. Essays are really big. We do read each and every one that enters our office. And by far, this is many of our counselors' favorite part because it is a direct line from you as a student to us as a counselor. You can truly express your interest, talk about some of your most unique qualities, and demonstrate that you can write on that collegiate level. Demonstrated interest, I mean, man, you guys are already tackling that now, right? Being able to log on, being able to engage with us with some of the great questions we see in the chat and get your questions answered. We do see ourselves as a best value university and a best fit university. So we want to generally accept and have students here on campus that desire to be here. And then most notably, we are now test optional going into the fall of 21. This is a great opportunity for our students. But it is also something Elon has been working towards for the last few years. And now being able to implement that, students can choose to submit their test scores or not and have no negative impact should they not, of course, again, submit that information. This will allow us to render an admissions decision for them without, of course, the test scores. And this will be the exact same for any honors-based programs that I mentioned before, those fellows scholars or Odyssey program, or any merit-based scholarships. Now, all of these opportunities are a great way for our students to identify unique qualities, to speak to their strengths, and have, again, that more holistic aspect to the admissions process as well. Now, with any application are its deadlines, right? We have 3 different deadline options for our students: early decision, early action, and regular deadline. Now, again, I'll reiterate, we have no preference of how or when you apply, but picking the perfect deadline for you can truly speak volumes. Early decision may be for some students who 100% love Elon. They know for a fact this is their #1 choice. And because of that, upon receiving their decision, they're ready to commit holistically to Elon, both financially and academically. Now, that is a family decision. We understand that many students may need to weigh out different scholarship opportunities, FAFSA opportunities as well in terms of your financial aid. And if so, this may not be your overall deadline to select. But that's why we also have early action, which is non-binding, which is a great way for those students, again, who may need to weigh out other options like their financial aid, or maybe we're even their top 3 school and they're wanting to make more of a decision later. They, of course, can apply November 1st, receive their decision by December the 20th. Early decision will receive their decision by December 1st. And then, of course, we have regular deadline, which is just that, our regular deadline. Students will receive their decision then by or around March the 20th. And those scholarship applications that I mentioned before are due January the 15th, right? So with that being said, that concludes our official portion of the presentation, but me and Kimberly love this section. This is what we consider the meat and potatoes. So therefore we can answer any questions you guys have, engage with you during the remaining time. Okay. So it looks like we have a few questions here, and one of the questions I would love to answer, especially over the video chat, is test optional only for 21 or 22 as well as right now? And that's a great question, right? So our test optional policy will be in effect until 2024, right? So it's a 4-year trial period where students will have who are choosing to apply during this time will have the option to do so. So whether you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, this will be the category and the policy that you would abide by, and that, of course, that we will, of course, abide by in the office. Let's see. It looks like we have a few more questions. One question I love and I would like to highlight is how good are the internship programs? And that's a very interesting question, right? Because internships are really twofold. One, to gain an internship generally is based on the student's major and interest. So that really allows students the ability to really have a wide array of different opportunities. But in relations to internships students have had within multiple schools in the past, and how our Career Service Department, that Student Professional Development Center here on campus, will work for you, I would definitely say that they are very good. Students have had the ability within the School of Communications to work for Good Morning America, for Fox News, and so many other opportunities and aspects there. As Kimberly mentioned, from the Sundance Film Festival, which is a great way to, of course, have the opportunity there in terms of a class, but also be, many of students have been able to internship in terms of the program side of that opportunity as well. And that's just in the School of Communications. Within our School of Business, students have been able to, of course, gain notable internships in New York City, where they have been able to work for big Fortune 500 companies and gain those experiences to bring back here on campus. But overall, it is generally based on what students are interested in, the job focus that they're wanting to create, and the ability to work with our Student Professional Development Center to gain the skill sets and obtain the internship. All righty. I see so many questions, so I love the fact that you guys are definitely logging on and seeing this as well. Is the cost of the study abroad typically covered by your tuition? And that's a good question, right? So when a student chooses to study abroad, whether that's for a full semester, the January term, or of course a spring semester, it really depends, right? I've known students to have saved money by studying abroad because their tuition is adjusted depending on where they go to. But also some students may have just a little bit of an increase in terms of their tuition depending on where they go, and of course the travel that's associated with that. Or others may have the pretty much same tuition as they would before. So in general, that is depending upon where a student goes in terms of travel, because of course that will impact a little bit of the cost, but I wouldn't say it's dramatically more or dramatically less than the overall tuition that we do have. Would you agree, Kimberly? Okay, fantastic.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wanted to make sure I hit that one on the head. All right, does Elon accept early college credits if we graduate high school with an associate's degree? And that's a phenomenal question. Number one, congratulations, right? Because that is already an amazing accomplishment to be able to be in such a rigorous program where you're able to be in high school, but gain those college credits and your associate's degree. So congratulations there. But yes, we do accept early college credits here at the institution. In fact, if you're interested to see many of the classes we have accepted, you can go to a credit articulation page on a university website that has all of the classes we accepted from multiple different community colleges or four-year institutions, or even early college credits as well. So now the key is you would still apply as a first-year student, so therefore you can benefit from the first-year experiences in terms of tuition, or in terms of scholarship opportunities, those merit-based opportunities. But after entering the university, that is when your credits will be, of course, articulated appropriately for your class. All righty. So many good questions. Let's see. For the merit-based scholarships, in particular, the presidential, would you need an SAT score? Good question. So to reiterate, you would no longer need an SAT or an ACT score in order to be considered for merit-based scholarship. So you will still be fully considered for the presidential scholarship in particular, as well as that Elon engagement scholarship without the submission of SAT or ACT test score. So there's no issue there. We would much rather you focus on the other pieces of the application, the things that you do have control over, as compared to having to worry about if you could take a test, worrying about if it gets canceled, and stressing over that, because we understand that you are so much more than that test, and we want to give you the opportunity through this policy to, of course, really focus on those other areas. So no issue there, no issue there at all. All right. What is the best advice you have ever gotten given about applying for college? That's a really, really good one. And I would definitely say that one of my things, and I actually told a student this earlier, is two things for me when I would give advice. One, don't rush the process, right? Really be able to take your time, and really be able to take your time on the application. Many students may feel as though they need to rush to get an application in well before the deadline, when that's not necessarily true. Being able to take your time, being able to be intentional with the material that you put together and put on your college application, to review it and make sure there's less mistakes, is key, right? Because not only do you want to represent yourself well, you want to represent what you're trying to do well, the college and university, the officer that are reading your applications well as also. So that's the biggest thing I would say, is just take your time, submit it when you feel the most comfortable. And I guarantee you, more times than not, that will be your best option. More times than not, that will give you the confidence knowing that without a doubt, you did all that you could on your application and that you did all that you could on the process. What would you say, Kimberly?
Yes, absolutely. I echo that all the way. And that essay is so important. We all have our own stories to tolerate, a lived experience that is unique to us. And we want to hear that. We want to get to know you. As great as your coach or your mentor might have been, we are really trying to get to know you, the person who is actually going to be here, present in our Elon classrooms. So that essay is ever essential to that application process. I know for myself, when I was applying to college, that is what a lot of my mentors helped me with as well. It also never hurts to have a second pair of eyes look over that admissions essay. If you have any friends or teachers at your school to be able to support you, and read over that essay, just give it a quick glance. You never know what you might find with a fresh set of eyes on that admissions essay.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So hopefully through that, you kind of were able to get a little bit more advice in terms of this admission process here at Elon, or really any other institution as well. Are the listed scholarship programs for students both in-state and out-of-state? Which is a great question. Many students may feel, especially comparing us to state schools, that there may be a difference. But we are a private liberal arts institution, and by way of that, we don't have a difference between any in-state or out-of-state tuition. Our tuition is the same for both students, as well as the scholarship programming opportunities and availability to, of course, receive those merit-based scholarships and honor-based programs. So it makes no difference to us if you are a North Carolina resident or, of course, out of the state to participate that. Specifically for any of my South Carolina students I'm listening to, please feel more than free to apply and engage. And definitely my North Carolina students, that does not count you out, even though out-of-state students can apply as well. We're really, really, really interested to see all of our applications that come in. All right. Okay, so another question is, what bearing, if any, does early decision, early action applications have upon awarding merit-based scholarships? Great question, right? So when a student is evaluating when and how they choose to apply, whether that's early decision or early action or a regular deadline, I'm sure a piece of that conversation has to be surrounded by scholarship opportunities and what would be available and what would be not. So with that being said, just kind of go over the 3 different deadlines again. The early decision, students will receive their decision the earliest. So and by way of that, in terms of an acceptance standpoint, it does have our biggest acceptance percentage in that pool, because in general, students are saying that if accepted, I'm 100% coming to Elon. And just honestly, by way of that's kind of how that works. Students, again, still will receive their scholarship information within those particular acceptance letters. So again, if you are applying early decision, 9 times out of 10, you will receive your merit-based scholarship the earliest of the pool. Now, that does not necessarily mean that that takes away from early action or regular deadline. It generally just means that you're getting the information ahead of time. Elon is very intentional with making sure that it has scholarship monies to provide to all students, regardless of deadline. So regardless of your early action, you can receive merit-based aid. Early decision can receive it, as well as regular deadline students also can receive that particular aid as well. So again, it's just reiterating you applying when you feel the most confident, because that is what will allow us to really be able to look at your application and nominate you for these particular opportunities, whether it is that presidential scholarship based on your academics or that engagement scholarship that we mentioned before, by looking into that information and really be able to provide notable things to the, of course, scholarship committee to, of course, allow you to gain those opportunities. Okay, could you talk more about the opportunities to study in other cities? So from what I'm getting from this question, I believe that you're trying to reference more of the Study USA programs. And within those are the 3 cities that Kimberly mentioned: Los Angeles, California, New York City, as well as Washington, D.C. Now, with these particular Study USA programs, they are generally directed by the major that a student is in, right? So say for instance, that if you are a comm major or a communication or a major in the School of Communications, 9 times out of 10 or more times than not, they have a really big school in Los Angeles, communications in LA, where students are able to go with a set professors that are currently working full-time out there, take classes, but many of those professors will allow them the opportunity to really engage with connections they have to gain internship opportunities, which are key. Now, if you're in more of the School of Business, many of those students may have opportunities to major in New York City, where there are multiple aspects in the world of business for them to get involved with. Again, same gig, many professors are located full-time in these areas as well within New York City to help guide students, teach students at many of the different universities there, and make sure that, of course, their time there is well used. And then Washington, D.C., I know for a fact that many of our policy majors or like political science majors may gain opportunities internship-wise there. And of course, saying get students, faculty, and staff will be located out there as well. Students can choose to do this for a full semester, whether that's at January, whether that is the fall semester or the spring semester, or during that 30-day January term as well. But that is generally based on the student's interest, availability for space that they have in these particular locations, and again, their major that they do have as well. Alrighty. What is Elon's idea for an ideal student? I think this is a good question as well. I wouldn't say necessarily that we have an ideal student, right? I think what we're really good at is evaluating each student for themselves. We're not looking for a cookie cutter in terms of this is what an Elon student is and this is what an Elon graduate is. I think the beautiful thing about about the overall atmosphere that we have is that students have the ability to manifest into the people they choose. And by way of that, we want students that are willing to be open-minded, willing to explore, willing to fail, willing to succeed, and just in general have the ability to explore, I would say. So if I had to identify it, I would just say a student that is not afraid of what's next, right? Not afraid of the experiences they may have here on campus and be able to truly benefit from them. When I first went to college, one of the things my teachers wrote on the board was fear, right? So fear, she ideal, was false evidence appearing real. And that's something that's always stuck with me. So not being led by fear, but allowing the opportunities to manifest for you and you taking advantage of those opportunities as well. All right. Let's see. From my end, I'm not seeing any more questions that I haven't answered. Are you seeing anything, Kimberly, by chance before? I know we're getting close to time, but do you see anything else that has went unanswered?
Yeah, I see a question here on our end that we could also speak to, Tristan. It says, what health and academic support services are available for students?
Great question. So in terms of health, we do have a clinic here on campus that allows students the opportunity, if sick or if in need of something, to be able to be taken care of by current physicians that we do have here on campus, or nurses, many of which that can provide many of the prescriptions that students may need during their time here. We also have many psychologists here on campus because mental health is a big thing as well. We want to make sure that not only can you excel academically, but you're getting support that you need holistically, whether that's through physical health or even your mental health. So of course, we do have those opportunities for students as well. But outside of that, we do of course have multiple gyms here for your physical health that allow you the opportunity. Majority of the time, I'm not going to say it's 24 hours a day, but it's definitely working well for our students that for the hours that they do have to go in there and be able to, of course, condition their bodies appropriately as well. I'm looking for the questions so I can answer the second part of it as well. But yeah, so on more of a health sense, we do provide those set opportunities for our students.
Yes, and the second part of that was the academic support.
Oh, great. So we do have quite a bit of academic support. One of the things that I do love here as well is that students' very first semester, we have what we call Elon 101. And within this class, it covers a bunch of different things. But one of the key things it does cover is the ability for students to get the help that they may need. It will highlight different tutoring services that we have on campus, different writing center opportunities to assist students in their writing efforts here on campus, your academic advisor, which is generally your professor in this class, will be your academic advisor until you declare your major, and they'll be able to provide several different opportunities in terms of support academically, allowing you to explore and gain the major that you may need if you are coming in undecided. I know when I came in, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was just ready to leave my parents' house. So when I got to college, many services like this allowed me the opportunity to explore and gain necessary information that I needed. But outside of that, I would say another piece of academic support are your professors. They are so much more than just educators inside the classroom. They're truly mentors. And what I mean by that is they're really paying attention to you as students, getting to know you, getting to know your strengths and building upon your weaknesses. And by way of that, they are, I would say, the largest support effort that we do have here on campus. But like I said, those writing centers, the tutoring services, the study rooms that we have here on campus, your academic advisor, again, who is that Elon one-on-one professor that will guide you through your academic journey and process as well, are many of the resources that we do have here on campus. All right, and now it is 5:44, so we are coming to the end of our presentation. But we just wanted to reiterate that, of course, we are here for you. This is our contact information again. My name is Tristan Rainey. Feel more than free to send me an email or even give us a call in our office. We love to engage, love to connect as well.
Absolutely. I echo that. We welcome any communication from you, and we are happy to help you throughout this process in this ever interesting 2020.
Definitely interesting 2020, Kimberly. You're exactly right. Students, we've been very happy to have you be a part of tonight's presentation. Just a few quick housekeeping things. I'm going to leave their contact information up on the screen for you in case you want to jot those things down or take a quick screenshot of that. But when you close out of this window, you're going to receive a very short 4-question survey. If you would take just a moment to fill that out, we really appreciate your feedback. If you have a friend that you think will benefit from this session, in approximately a week, this session will be available because it has been recorded. You can find it on the CACRAO.org website. So CACRAO.org under recordings. And last but not least, there still are plenty of other sessions available that will be live over the next week and a half. So we want to encourage you to check it out. If the folks at Elon can be of help to you, don't hesitate to contact them. Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us.